Okay. Well, here we are, doing this thing for the first time in who knows how long, admittedly. Yeah, it's car talk time. And a long one, too. We got a solid 40 minutes on the road, at least. I'm heading back to my place of residence, because, yeah, why not? Just hit a pretty wicked lift at the other body shop in GR. One of the best lit gyms in the Grand Rapids area that I've been able to check out so far, and also one of the best equipped. And I really wish I lived literally just somewhat closer at all. Like, if I lived 5 minutes closer, like I would consider getting a membership. But the problem is I don't, and it's winter in Michigan, and I'm going to be moving probably within the next year, and I don't feel like dealing with people and stuff. Oh, golly me. Oh, geez. Eek. That little hit aside, I don't know really what to talk about, to be completely honest. It's just one of those things where I'm vibing, I'm having a wonderful time, and life eventually has been good. I don't think I've really talked about much lately, just because, I don't know, I'm usually in gyms where it's like I just kind of want to get done with my lifts. So why focus on that when, well, I mean, I want to get done with my lifts. But yeah, so what was, I guess, today's lift was just kind of like an upper day of sorts where I hit everything I needed to in mine. Max hit everything that I have programmed for him. And yeah, it was just nice. It was really interesting. I bumped into a guy who has seen me on social media, and one, I got one of the best compliments you can ever get as an online kind of gym dude, and I was told I look larger in person than I do online. I win. I just win. I don't make the rules. That's just how it works. And you love to see it, just for the sake that, I don't know, well, for me at least, I always worry about being, inauthentic. I always worry that I'm portraying myself as larger than what I am in a lot of different regards. Also, one thing I really do want to say, and gladly will say, in regards to the whole, bodybuilding gym setups and bodybuilding gyms out in the world. Oh my gosh, they're so much nicer than the, usual gym setup. Or not the commercial gym. One, obviously, the environment is going to be way more get huge, go crazy, be that guy kind of thing. But along with it, it's also significantly more like pro, like absolutely, filming. And that's a big thing for me. Obviously, we couldn't tell. I do enjoy my little filming. I do enjoy, it's just really nice. The environment, and I just feel so much more at home, in a sense, because, so many more people are filming, because that's kind of the nature of gyms that are more bodybuilding oriented, because if you want to get into bodybuilding and really make a living off it, one of the things that has to be kept into account is straight up the fact that to bodybuild and make somewhat of a living, somewhat of a side hustle off it even, what do you have to do? You have to be online. You can't just kind of walk around places. You can't just take photos, send them to magazines anymore, because that's just not profitable for people. So it's like an unfortunate thing where for a time I was trying to be like, I don't want to be a social media something. I just want to lift, and it was a coping mechanism, just because the type of stuff I do is not maybe the most social media virality friendly, because I don't care for it to be. The stuff I like to do is simply the stuff I like to do. And if there's one thing I don't like to do, it is doing what other people like to do. It's something that I've always, being quirky, odd, a little different. Those are the things I've always kind of leaned towards, because I just tended to be good at them. Mind you, why am I doing then bodybuilding? Of all things, has become, well, weirdly enough, okay, I'm not sure if a lot of us realize, bodybuilding is not as popular as we might think bodybuilding is. And, to a lot of people, who only ingest, the online social media, fitness influencer content stuff, what do you mean? What? Bodybuilding not popular? No, not at all, really. Because I have been to a fair bit of gyms, a lot of gyms, and in my life, I've only been to really, at any given moment, when I show up to a commercial gym, I would say to myself, I have a 2% chance of bumping in to another bodybuilder. That just tends to be the thing. Yeah, bodybuilding just really, it's not as popular as one may think. Now, it's annoying because, like, you know, obviously I think with a lot of people, man, do I wish I grew up in the quote-unquote golden era where bodybuilding was incredibly niche still, and honestly, you could get in and, you know, not have the nuttiest, craziest physique ever. You just had to have some size and some slight shape to you, and you were solid. You were so good to go. And that's not really the case anymore. You do have to have a fair bit going for you to be one of the good ones. And, you know, the longer I do this, the more I realize I'm not going to be your aesthetic, pretty boy type dude. I'm going to have a nice physique, I can say that much in general, but I don't have the build of someone who's going to be like, you know, I don't know, your young LA model, your Gymshark go-tos. It's just simply not what's in the cards for me. What is in the cards for me, though, is just being good at competitive bodybuilding. And, I mean, obviously, you'd imagine a lot of people think of bodybuilding shows as just, you know, looking the best, but it's also, you know, more size, having good conditioning. Like, there's more to it than overall aesthetics. And I'm happy for that because, good golly, I'd be so screwed if it were just that. And, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of bodybuilding. It's genetically kind of, you got some predisposition up in there, but then you can always work around it lightly and kind of do your you know, own thing via hard work and kind of adjust yourself accordingly. And I think that's really nice. I think that's really good. I've lightly touched on this in like other videos, just the game plan for, I don't know, show things. I just feel like it's a very fun and easy thing to talk about, so I'm just going to talk about it a fair bit, at least for a little bit, because that's just what we do. Game plan would be, theoretically, April, May of 27, although I cannot lie, I would really like to be hopped on by then, and if I decide to hop on, I would really, really, really like to take probably another 2 years off to run a couple cycles and really, oh yeah, rumble strip, and really get things up and going, because obviously, you know, in natural bodybuilding and enhanced bodybuilding, two different things. We're talking two different types of flying. If you get that reference, you're cool. If you don't, go watch Airplane, please and thank you. But yeah, I mean, it's a whole different beast. I've coached a guy, a natural dude, and brought him onto an enhanced stage. And he did amazing. He probably would have whooped the natural stage light work. But the problem is, there were the enhanced guys. So the one thing I will give myself is, I'm better than I think I perceivably am, depending on the shots. I feel like whenever I take videos with my phone camera, it's just, you know, it's not great. With my camera, things tend to be a lot better because it's a lot more of a level situation. But that aside, I do look okay. Like, I'm not gonna sell myself short. I know I have potential. It's just I need way more if I want to be like sincerely competitive, because the dream, I would love to go to the NPC Nationals. I would love to go to Texas and win a pro card in that kind of ordeal, because that's where a lot of, like, you know, the people who actually go on to do the great things, that's where they do their things to begin with. Like, that's their whole ordeal. Like, they go to the Nationals, they beat the best of the best, because that's just kind of how it goes. They win their pro cards, and then they go on, and they typically do some okay things. Now, mind you, if we really look at like the types of people who are really placing high in pro shows, it's a time thing. There are not a lot of young pros that are showing up and doing really, really, really well. You know, you know, bodybuilding is an old man sport. It's just really heavily enjoyed by young men. So the big thing there, I want to show up and I want to be great. And I was thinking about this. Theoretically, very heavily theoretically, I mean, I could always do IFBB Pro Card. I could always do a natural kind of regional show, then go to a, you know, pro qualifier or like, you know, Pro Card attempt kind of, I don't know, natural show in the NPC. But then it's like, what do you, as a natural who has the Pro Card, the only thing you can do is show up to pro shows and get your butt absolutely handed to you. Now, I do think, I'm not sure if they're doing, I think maybe the NBC is trying to push for like a natural Mr. Olympia kind of deal. Because, I mean, there is this other, it's like federation thing, but they're not no one ever talks about them. And I mean, there's some really good guys who compete in that thing, but the Olympia having the actual like Mr. Olympia trademark could easily overrun any natural, Olympia competition, strictly for the fact that it has, the Olympia and the IFBB and the NPC backing it. Like that's huge. And we could go there. But guess what? I don't want to. I think it's really cool that to be a natural athlete is becoming way more accessible to do larger things, but it's not the actual large things that seem like worthwhile to do, That's just kind of my thoughts on it. And it would be, naturally, I could do great. And it's so tempting to do another natural show. And, I might, if I'm still scared of needles, as I still am. Like, that's just going to be what happens. And it's going to be completely okay, because, I'm not going to say, my conditioning is not anything nuts. It's not crazy. But given how I'm looking at around 160, I don't know, it was weird. This morning I woke up at 167 after I weighed 163 the other day. So I think my sleep was kind of crap, and I'm just holding on to like some excess water and some food because I have not had a bowel movement yet today. Which, yes, that's going to affect fasted check-in weights because you're not too terribly fasted with stuff still chilling there. And I think I do need to get better sleep because even after some coffee, nothing has happened. So we just got to work with the body in that regard and do as we need to. So that's whatever. But that aside, I might be doing another natural show. And honestly, it would be for the story of Trenton Lasky, for the story of the Ginger, for those who remember that one. It would be so nice to have a conclusion to the natural pro card attempt. Because we tried it after 2 years of lifting. I am not someone who can do 2 years of lifting and win a natural pro card. That's not something I personally can do. My genetics, my physique, my muscle building things, they don't like that idea. Also, my training and stuff at the time, it just was not ideal to try to do something like that soon, given my genetics and all that other stuff, as I said. So, it would be nice to get that redemption. It would be so nice to be like, I did it! Who do you think you are? I am. But I really don't know how much I want that, to be honest, because the more I see OCB shows, the more I see people who win OCB pro cards, it waters it down for me. I think OCB pro cards they're one of the least valuable pro cards out there, all things considered. And I guess in the general ranking of things, the OCB is a pretty large federation, so there's some weight to it. But the thing there is, if you see some of the people who end up winning these pro cards, like, it doesn't seem as cool. And I know people will make the very same argument for IFBB pro cards. And I completely understand that. But the way I view it is this. At an NPC show, I will say 9.9 times out of 10, what will happen at your local show with whatever lineup of people you have, whatever will happen at that show would happen at like a lot of other shows around the country. Like, the judges would go the same route, the same decisions, because the NPC is way more of what I view as a standardized kind of, they have a standardized judging criteria. The OCB, it depends on where you are, who's judging you, how they're feeling, all this other stuff. And I find it pretty nonsensical. I really do not enjoy it. Another thing that I really don't like about the OCB as well is they only really have the one, like, time on stage. You pay for your couple, like, categories, you go on once, and that's it. The one thing I will give credit to the NPC for is, like, it might be a little bit more costly to do their shows, but they give you actual stage time, especially if you make it onto finals and are really in the running. If you aren't, that's unfortunate, but, I don't know. I feel like with the OCB, it's just kind of regardless of how good you're doing, you get your little chance on stage, and that's about it. But, also, the big thing there, once again, the judging is just up in the air. I've seen people win based on shreds. I've seen people win based on just shape and looking softer than, other people on stage. I've just seen so many different variations of winners that what an OCB Pro card means, it doesn't mean you were the best guy there at that show that day. It just means that out of all the physiques on stage, the judges liked yours more. And I find that to be shallow. I find that to hold not a lot of value. Now, it's still impressive to hold an OCB Pro card. I obviously don't have one. So anyone who does have one, like, congratulations, you put in the work, you got on stage, you did what you needed to do. But when I look at it from like, you know, even like kind of farther out lens or whatever, when I take a step back and looking at it, once again, I've seen too many questionable calls. I've seen too many like people win that maybe really shouldn't have in the grand scheme of like what I view is special as bodybuilding. The OCB just, its priorities of bodybuilders and bodybuilding are not what my own priorities are as a coach, as a competitor, and just as a general, the philosophies just don't line up to me, okay? And I think that's the big thing. It's just, it's a fundamental difference in views, and I don't really know if like I want to, I don't know, it just, obviously it's not like I'm supporting Al-Qaeda by doing one of their shows, but it's just like, I'm kind of going against what I feel is like the right route of action by doing stuff like that, you know? It is what it is, though. The OCB is going to get larger. More people are going to be OCB pros. I just don't view the OCB Pro card as great as other things. Still plenty of amazing bodybuilders, though, that are OCB pros. It just, you know, I say great bodybuilders can be OCB pros, but not all OCB pros are good bodybuilders. I think that's the best way you can put it. But the same goes for NPC things, but once again, like, at least with NPC shows, someone who actually puts in the work to get shredded will beat out the fluffier guy nearly every time. And that at least makes me happy. Because that stuff ticks me off when fluffy people like show up to a bodybuilding show and end up beating someone who really put in the work for their shreds, you know? And now we're bulking. Like, actually, like, my weight it's slowly going up again, which is scary. I cannot lie. The ideas of, well, I think it's funny. I call this whole thing the incredible bulk. I don't think the bulk actually started till really, like, actually this week, because I mean, this week is actually where I'm like back with some more consistency. I'm not sick. I'm not just heading to the gym and working out what I feel can be worked out that day. I'm sincerely like back on the plan through and through. So I feel like to say the bulk is in actual effect is actually in full effect, opposed to being like kind of there. And that's nice, because what that means is we're just going to be getting stronger. And we were getting stronger even during the cut. I have, this last kind of like year of stuff and things, it's been nothing but consistent strength gains pretty much all the way since my show. And that has been wonderful to see, because that means I'm growing, and it's evident that I am indeed growing. Like, being around in the 160s-ish right now compared to where I was post-show, night and day difference. It's phenomenal. It makes me incredibly happy. It makes me very proud of what I've been able to accomplish. And that's the nice part about bodybuilding overall for me. It's like, you put in the work, you see the results. Like, there's nothing really out in the world. Like, there are no external factors that make bodybuilding harder than what it needs to be, at least for me. And I'm very grateful, I'm very privileged for that to be the case. Because if things feel bad, if things don't look like how I want them to look, guess who I'm gonna blame? You're looking at them. And I find that to be so nice, because it seems with a lot within the world, you know, I try not to find the excuses. I try not to find well, it's not my fault. But I do. But the thing is, I do. Like, you know, I will scapegoat when all I can do is control me. And sometimes when all you do is do what you can do, sometimes outside factors will F you up. They will mess you up, man. And that's why bodybuilding it's been a really therapeutic ordeal of get what you want to get, do what you have to do to get what you want to get, and that's all you can do. You could not guarantee outcomes, but you can guarantee your input. And that's how I like to view bodybuilding. But then with other things within the world, it's interesting because coaching. One thing I will definitely say about coaching that differs from bodybuilding in a sense is that you can guarantee the inputs and the outputs. And there's something nice about having this duality of like, you can put work into something, you can't guarantee the outcome, and you can put work into something and you can guarantee the outcome. I think having both sides of it reflects just kind of like the duality of the world in the sense of like, there's guaranteed things, but there's also not guaranteed things. And it's beautiful, man. Like the ability just to have all these different things that can simultaneously be incredibly different, but so true at the same time. That's the world we live in. Man, it's wonderful. And speaking of coaching, hit a lift today, the other body shop and all that stuff with my buddy Max. The man looks freaking stellar. The dude is looking like a unit. And it's so nice because his calories are relatively, like they're high. They are up there. But bicep veins, middle, the gut's a little fluffier. I'm not going to ignore that. But strength is getting up there. Quads are still stupid, like thick and like relatively defined. And I got an IFBB Pro on my hands. A future IFBB Pro, mind you, but he's gonna get there, and it's really nice because there's something also therapeutic about working with people that are gonna stick with you, that will eventually get to the point of greatness. Like, I don't worry. I just know that time needs to be put into it. And that's the beauty of working with people who are so dedicated and so serious about it. And yeah, it's just all a matter of time, all a matter of pushing forward. And it's nice. And yeah. Also, I gotta say, it's really nice to actually be a coach who actually coaches guys and actually posts about the guys they coach. My God. My goodness, recently I've seen a lot of people, they call themselves coach, the real coaches, top level coach, elite level coaches. Where are your clients? Where are they? I'm genuinely curious, like, how are they doing? How's the wife? How's the family? Because people call themselves coaches, but you don't really see the clients, and it's incredibly interesting because a lot of coaches, quote unquote, my hands are a little cold, it's freezing outside. I might comment on the polar vortex I'm currently living through, but we'll get there later. But the idea that a lot of online coaches are just younger kids who still live with the comfort of their parents' money under them, it's humorous to me because I'm still in that same boat. I am living from home. I'm doing my best to be the best coach I can be, but it's very cushiony. I live a very cushiony life. And while it's nice for the sake of comfort, I hate it for the sake of, like, I want to push farther, but it's so hard to push to a place where you've never been, where you're actually, when, like, subconsciously or consciously, you're okay with where you are. And that is one of the most annoying aspects of, I don't want to say living the life I live, because I'm incredibly lucky and fortunate to have the life I do, but I want to be more than what I am, than what I have been, and I know to do that I need to have my back up against the fire. I need to have my tush roasting on an open flame. And admittedly, that's why I'm super excited. I'm going to be moving into an apartment with my girlfriend and her two of her friends next year, which will be that's going to be a really awesome experience for the sake that we'll be back doing, the big boy college thing, and we'll just be working and doing what we got to do to make things happen. And there's a gym over there. It's like a bodybuilding gym, nice posing room. I'm going to be a little harsh. It's not nearly as nice as the other body shop. That posing room, it is immaculate. Like, I have a dream to open a gym one day, and I want it to be, I want it to be a bodybuilder's gym. I want it to be a place that people go to seriously train, work hard, and get done what they need to get done. And this place, it's a great gym in the sense that, a lot of weight, you can move a lot of stuff, But, you know, it's just interesting. What can I say? It's just interesting. So, I'm going to be at least in an environment like that. It's going to be around a bunch of college people. And I know some of the bodybuilders over in that area. So I'll be able to kind of show up and, I don't know. I Joe can be the best one there, be the biggest guy. I doubt that. I mean, there are going to always be people who are larger. And I'm very okay with that. There are always going to be people that are better. I'm very okay with that. I like that because there's always something more to strive for, you know? One of the best and worst things to ever happen to me was bringing a guy to stage for the first time and having him do incredibly well. It was amazing in the sense that, holy smokes, I got a guy who beat dudes who were on steroids naturally, you know, the guy was natural, and he beat them, like, handedly. Conditioning was on point, muscularity was on point, shape, symmetry, like, he looked phenomenal. But it happened too soon. Like, there was no buildup. It just happened. And I'm, once again, incredibly proud. I'm so thankful to have had an experience that is more successful than the majority of these quote-unquote bodybuilding coaches out there. But I didn't know what to do with it. It happened, and I didn't capitalize. It happened, and that's all it was. It was just a thing that happened. Like, there was no weight to it like there maybe would have been had I been grinding at this for longer. But my skills they just got me there. And that has been a reoccurring theme in my life. Like, I do something, I do it freaking well, and that's it. That is the expectation I have for myself. I don't just do stuff for the sake of, like, mediocrity, and that has ended up hurting me, it seems. Because to work hard and to get better and to really make the changes you need to become something that you never knew was possible, I've never truly done that. Except for cross country when I was in high school. That was a different story where I started off so horrendous and I did get really good. And I hated it, but I fell in love with it. And maybe I need to do that again. Maybe I do need to find something in my life that I suck butt at in order to work hard and just really achieve something I didn't know I could achieve. And that's because there's beauty in the journey. There's so much beauty in the journey. And people want to get from point A to point B, and they wish they could skip the journey in between. They wish they could skip the perils, the travels, all the annoyance and just like things that they gotta trek through. But from someone who's accomplished, like, I'm not the greatest thing, on God's green earth by any means. In this case, I mean, God's very much snow freezing earth. I'm not the best. But to have done what I've done with such little effort behind it, at least what I feel is such little effort, it feels meaningless. Like, to have what I have, given the work I put in, I don't know, it just leaves, the hole is still there. Alrighty, my SD card totally got full, so I had to delete some things. But, moral of the story, you have to learn to be grateful. You have to be willing to teach yourself that what you have is special regardless of how much of it you have. Because if you're constantly chasing more and you're constantly getting more, like, what does it truly mean? Like, you think the idea of having it all will give you everything, but having it all does nothing. It does nothing. All the material items in the world, it really, you just think you want it because that's what other people tell you you want. It truly doesn't make the human condition, your life, better by having all this stuff if you don't have, I can't even answer this because I don't know. Because this is not a lesson, like, I know it's a lesson that exists, but I just never gotten to the point where I could truly really realize what it maybe is that that someone does need in order to, like, really feel satiated with life. I've just always been chasing more. That, I thought I could be like, oh yeah, no, here's my advice for you, cool guy. I don't know. And that's kind of eerie. That's scary for me, because I'm worried. I'm worried that I will chase. I'm worried that I will fly, try to grab the sun, get too close, and just land flat on my face. That's really what worries me. Like, I have these hopes, I have these dreams. When will it be enough? There's a lot to think about in regards to that. But that aside, trying to think of anything that would be worthwhile talking about. Oh yeah, the Detroit Pro. That's going to be a thing that's going to be happening, and this sucker's just going to be there, spectating, viewing around, having a wonderful time. I got to see if there's anyone who'd be out there willing to, hit a lift. Me and Max, we're going to be heading over there and all that good stuff, and we're going to be yucking about, and I need to see if I can reach out to maybe like a pro, or like some like big wig, big name guy who's going to be happening to be up and out there, because it would be really nice to hit a lift with someone who is like an absolute unit, someone who is like, they've done the pro show things, they've done the pro card stuff, like, just to get that insight would be really nice, because lift with people, amateurs, done that. My big goal now is like, I just want to start interacting with like larger people, in a sense, people who like have made it far in the things that I want to do. So I think it's going to be a really interesting journey for me for this year, because we're almost in February, and I've done a good job with things and stuff. There's only so much I really could have done up until this point, so I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm behind. I'm right where I need to be, for I am right where I need to be. I think it's a good mentality to have, because I feel like the ideas of worrying typically push people back farther than what they need to. So what's going to be nice is I'm going to begin home. It's going to be wonderful. I'm going to eat, and then from there, what am I going to do? I'm going to binge out some homework, and then I just pack up a couple things in order to head over to my girlfriend's for the night, and then I got college classes tomorrow. But I gotta do a little bit better with my schoolwork as far as like actually ingesting the actual content and like learning stuff as I should, and like looking to things. Oh, I caught that so nicely. Outside of class, I need to work on doing stuff outside of class, because the value of college does not come from just sitting in lectures and getting through the day. It comes from actually ingesting the information, and I need to rewire my brain in order to want to do that more, which means I need to be on TikTok less. I'm an avid doom scroller. I'm an avid ponderer. I'm on my phone too much. And yeah, simply enough, I just need to not do that. I need to work a little harder to be a little better about that. I'm about to get a low gas thing. So, that's kind of annoying. But I'll get back home, and yeah, we will do what we gotta do. There's a gas station. Interesting. I'm not sure. I think the cold might be like, I'm not sure if it's like cold enough to freeze gasoline or something, but some gas stations are like not, I don't know, it wasn't projecting prices, which is kind of eerie, but what you gonna do? Probably should have filled up somewhere else, but it's cold. I'll just save it for later, and we'll deal with that problem when we get there, which unfortunately we might be getting there soon, but it simply is what it is. I just want to start doing more to actually push myself further, because I feel like social media, it gives the illusion of progress really well, because you get a couple more likes, oh, I'm getting farther. You get a couple more views, oh, I'm getting farther. Does that do anything for your social status? Does it do anything for the sake of your bank account? Does it do anything for the sake of you actually furthering you in any meaningful way? For a lot of people, no. And that's where it gets you. That's where social media gets a lot of people, I feel. Because, like I said, the illusion. So, just gotta fight it off take in what's real and be happy with what's real. The lift today, honestly, it brought me back to reality in a sense, because like I talked to people, I interacted with folks. Oh golly, eek! That was a slick little turn. There was a sign there that almost my car almost gave a big smooch to. But yeah, to talk with people IRL brings me into it, and it's so nice, and I'm very excited. My girlfriend, she's so sweet. She's going to be doing a leg day with me tomorrow, which definitely is Planet Fitness. I don't film in Planet Fitnesses. My following and internet, blah, 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 it's not enough to like try to push the boundaries there. And I'm not going to record my girlfriend anyway, because, I mean, she's just not her cup of tea. This stuff is not her cup of tea. So I'm looking forward to, showing her the ropes of, my heels elevated Smith squats and all this other fun, goofy stuff that we'll be able to, get into hijinks-wise. And, oh golly, my window is frozen shut. I was gonna go get the mail. I cannot get the mail. That's fine. But yeah, I think it's very sweet of her to want to do those kinds of things with me. Find yourself a significant other that, even though they despise the act of going to the gym, will still, every once in a while, go to the gym with you. And it's so nice, because I maybe me being around her has kind of, been lightly influential, but she wants to go to the gym, like once we live together, and stuff, just, a little bit more often, because, I'll be around, so it's like, oh, when you're around, you can take me, and all this other stuff, and I just think it's sweet. I think it's really cool that she's the way she is, and yeah, I'm going to be seeing her later today. Woo! Oh, that didn't come out right. But with that, yeah, first car talk in a while, actually. And yeah, I should probably get back to doing these more. Although, what I will say about the SD card, what I need to start doing is like filming my lifts in the higher quality and then adjusting the video quality to be a little bit lower for the card docs. Just because, like, when the muscles are out, you want it to look nice. When they're not out, it could be a little bit negligible, because it's the words and the wisdom that matter now. I hope it's somewhat wisdoming or wordy, but with that, see y'all later. This might be its own separate video, because I'm in a 40-minute car talk. Can't make that stuff up. That's a whole video. I really don't want to add it on to probably an already hour 30 lift montage. Alrighty, but with that, peace out, folks.